All right, we've already talked about preparing for your official visit. In chapter 2, we are now starting your official visit. How does it start? Well, usually the coach will tell you, hey, meet me in the student center, or meet my assistant in the student center, or meet our admissions representative in the student center. So you go to the student center, and usually your day will start off with either a meal or a meeting with the admissions counselor. Usually you might go to a class with either one of the players or just a simple class that's in your major. I would really recommend that as you go. You'll meet with the coach a lot. You'll go eat somewhere. You'll probably watch a practice, or you'll go take a tour of the locker room in the gymnasium or the facilities that they have. You hopefully will get a tour of the school. The coach might take you around the town. But then you're going to get a chance to sit down with the coach, okay? Or the coach and coaches. And there are a couple of different questions that you need to ask the coach. There are a couple of different questions that you need to ask the players. Now, if you're going on June 15th, there's a good possibility that there won't be any players available for you to ask. What you need to do is ask the coach if you can have a couple of the players' phone numbers. And you can text them, you can snap them, you can DM them, you can do whatever you want. I would recommend calling them because you're going to get their tone and you're going to get what they think about the program whenever you call them. But the questions that I would ask the coach, and I've written down 5 questions that you need to ask the coach. We went over a couple of them whenever we were talking about making our phone call in chapter 4 of the last unit. But now that you're sitting in front of the coach, ask these questions. Some of them are going to be a little bit of a repeat, but ask the question and see what they think about. You can see in their eyes their desire of how much they want to add value to you. And again, that is a big deal when thinking about a school. That's a big deal. How much do you value me, and how much do you not just value me for what I can do on the volleyball court, what I can do in the locker room in terms of culture, and what I can do in the classroom in terms of graduating and getting a degree from this school. Okay? The first question that I would ask a coach, I have 5 questions. I would really write these down or print this off later. Do whatever you need to do, but these are some big questions. You can add to them, you can subtract from them. I'm not saying they're perfect questions, but it'd be a great 5 questions to start with as you go into your meeting with that college coach. Okay? The first question says, how long do you plan on staying here? How long do you plan on coaching at this institution? I would really like for you to take a look at the school that you're going to and take a look at the coaches that have been there over the last 10 years. If this coach that you're talking to has been there over the last 10 years, that's a great thing. If they've had 5 coaches over the last 10 years, that's probably not a great thing, because that's an average of 2 years, and if you're just coming after your sophomore year, they're not going to be there in 2 years from now. So think about a little bit about those things. Think about, hey, how long do you plan on being here? So my first question needs to be, Coach, how long do you plan on being here? And I'm going to pretty much give you every answer that they're going to give you, as long as they'll have me. Because if a coach is there, he's usually probably saying, I want to be here as long as I can, especially at Division I. Division I is a lot of business. If you don't win, you're gone. So a lot of Division I coaches love where they are. There's not really a way to move up. Now, some Division I coaches even want to move up. But how long do you plan on being here if they keep you here? And again, that's a big if. They have to win in order to keep their jobs. Division II and Division III, it's not as cutthroat as, hey, if I don't win, can I be here? I haven't had a great record at Belhaven, but I've been here for 7 years. So I love what I do here, and I plan on being here as long as they'll have me. So a lot of the time, the coach will say, I'm going to stay here as long as they'll have me. Now, some coaches might lie to you. Some coaches might be truthful with you and say, you know what? I really want to be a Division I coach. I really want to be at the biggest school. I really want to be closer to home. I really want this, or I really want that. It gives an open-ended question to that coach, and then they'll be able to tell you their heart a little bit. So they'll be able to say a lot of things, and you'll be able to get an opportunity to understand, hey, is this coach even going to be here whenever I graduate? And those are things that you need to ask. So number 1 is, Coach, how long do you plan on being at this school? Number 2, coach, what's your favorite thing about this university? That gives them an opportunity. It's an open-ended question, but not only what they like about the university, that could be something that you like, or maybe that's something you don't like. If somebody says, well, I really like the chapel, and you're like, I don't want to go to chapel. Or I really like that it snows during the winter. Oh, I don't like snow. Those are things that are giving you an opportunity to kind of get to know the coach a little bit too. And you're sitting there one-on-one with him or her, and you can say, hey, coach, what's your favorite thing about the university? I got asked that question by a sophomore, okay? I'm allowed to talk to sophomores. But I got asked that question by a sophomore, and it just lit me up. It gave me an opportunity to tell somebody what I really like about the university. And if it takes them a long time, then there might be a lot of things that they like about the university. But if they can't come up with something, you might want to run from that school. But if a coach says, man, there's a bunch of things. I like the food. I like the food. I like the community of coaches. I like the community of coaches. I like the town that I live in. I like the salary. I don't know if they'll say that. But there'll be a lot of things that coach will tell you, hey, this is what I like about the school. And if they give an opportunity to say, hey, what do you like about the university? What's your favorite thing? That's going to give you an opportunity to see the great things. Now, I would really take away from a little bit, I don't want you to say, what's the worst thing you like about the school? Because nobody's going to answer that question usually. And if they do, it's probably not going to be the right answer. I will answer it for you honestly. If you ask me, you have to ask me. I'm not going to tell you now, but I'll answer it for you honestly. So for me and for coaches, if you ask us that, it gives us an opportunity to recruit you even more by just showing you our heart. And it shows what the coach really values. And it shows what the school really values too. And the things that he's been or she's been telling you on the phone the whole time, now they can really open up and say, hey, our school is awesome. You want to know why? They have Bluebell ice cream. That's a selling point for me, okay? Done. Where do I sign? But that's one thing that I would definitely ask. All right, here we go. Number 3, what are you looking for in a player? Or if you had a perfect player, coach, what would that player look like? And a lot of coaches will say, coachable, can touch 10 feet or 11 feet, is a yes or no, sir. They'll tell you everything they're looking for in a recruit. And it'll help you to find out if you fit within those things. And if not, what can you do to change? Becoming a great teammate. You can go ahead and watch the other course that we have at the Volley Academy. That might be helpful for you. Woo, there you go. There's an upsell. Way to go, Justin. All right. Anyway, what are you looking for in a player? What are you looking for in a recruit? What's your perfect player? And it'll allow you again to take a look at, this will be something you'll see in that coach and what they value. All right, because so what their practice is going to be like, that's going to be another question you might ask. But what do you look for in a recruit? They're going to tell you exactly what their key core concepts and what they want the most out of a player. They'll tell you by answering that question. So say, hey, coach, what are you looking for in a player? What are you looking for in a recruit? Give me some characteristics of your perfect player. That is question number 3. Number 4, I would always ask a coach, what are your rules, or what are some of the policies that you have in your school and in your program? All right, is there no gossip? Can we not drink? Are we allowed to eat ice cream or fried chicken? Say, what are your rules? And usually that coach will be about, here you go. I'll hand you our policy list or our rule list. If not, the coach has some key things that he might say, or she might say, I really don't have any rules. Just make sure that you bust your butt when you're on the court. And if that's great with you, that's great. If you've gone through our becoming a great teammate, I give you every rule that we have within the volleyball program at Belhaven. It's talking about family values, okay? The value system of our program and the culture that we want to build, okay? So what is the culture that the coach wants to build? And that'll kind of tell you by their rules. If they have no rules, I don't know if they're trying to build a culture. They're just trying to win volleyball games. And if that's just what you want to do, wonderful. I'll see you at Chick-fil-A later and you can make me some nuggets. Because you want to go to school and you want value added to you. And how do we discipline? How do we do that in order to get there? Okay? So that's question number 4. And then the last question I would always say, and we talked about it and we talked about being on the phone, but ask them again, Coach, why me? Why are you recruiting me? Not just my position. Why are you recruiting me? What about me has you sitting in front of me and asking me to come to your school? And that would be a huge question to ask a coach. And then always ask a coach, hey coach, where do I stand in your recruiting list? Are you going to offer me today? And they might say, well, give me a second. We'll talk about that at the end. All right. But that's another question you want to know. Hey, am I going to get an offer to be on this team? Do you have a scholarship for me? And I don't know if it's a gray shirt, a walk-on, a red shirt. We talked about those things in Unit 2. But you want to take a look and you want to see, hey, coach, are you really recruiting me? Is there a position for me? Am I welcome on your team? Are you offering me today? If they haven't already told you that, that's a big deal, because you might get an official visit and not get offered. You might be asked to walk on. You might say, you know what? The coach might tell you, hey, you're not what I'm looking for. So the last question, when you say, why me? That gives the coach an opportunity to tell you what his heart feels about you. And it helps you to understand, does this coach really value me? And does the coach know anything about me? Okay? If he just says, because you hit the ball hard, maybe that's great. But I think it needs to be a little bit more. It needs to be value added to you. Got it? Okay. All right. So those are the 5 questions. How long do you plan to coach here? What's your favorite thing about the school? What is your perfect player? What are some characteristics of your perfect player or your perfect recruit? What are your rules or your policies for your team? And then lastly, why are you recruiting me? Now, if you have an opportunity to talk to the players, always talk to the players. Okay, if it's during season or if the players are around, find a time, find a half hour to sit down with at least 1 or 2 or 3 players. I would really say at least 3, because you might just talk to one player that really loves the coach or one player that really hates the coach. Give about 3 players, can give you a broader vision of what the coach is like, what the program's like, what the school is like, what the town is like, all those different things. So the 5 questions you need to, now we're going to turn our thought process to the 5 questions you need to ask the player. So the 5 questions you need to ask the players are, the first question is, why here? Why did you come to XYZ University? Why are you here? What made your decision why you came to Belhaven or University of Arkansas or University of Florida or Oregon? Why did you come to this school? And it's an open-ended question. And some of them might just say money. I got a full scholarship. That's it. But ask them, you probably got a full scholarship at a lot of other places, or you probably got an opportunity at other places, and they might tell you no. If they tell you no, then that's probably going to move on to the next question. Well, you'll get an understanding of why other people came to this school. In their recruiting process where you're about to jump into, after you get offered, hey, how do I know if this is the school for me? How do I get a piece of if this is the school for me? And it's by talking to the players about the coach too, but talking to the players, why did you choose this school? That'll give you an opportunity to, again, narrow down your search a little bit to find out if this is the school for you. Do that in your official visit. If the players aren't around, get 3 of their phone numbers from the coach, at least 3, or get as many as you want. Now, I would really recommend that you pick the 3, because if the coach picks the 3, he's going to say, okay, Susie likes me, Tammy likes me, and Jenny likes me. So you can have all 3 of those. I'm not giving you Katie's number because she hates my guts. All right. So make sure you pick the 3 and say, hey, coach, can I get, and then pick somebody from your town or your area, maybe your state. Maybe pick somebody that's in your position. Pick somebody that's in your major. Something like that. Those are the 3 types of people that you want to talk to. Okay. Question number 2 is, what's the best thing and the worst thing since you've been here? What's the best thing you've liked since you've been here? What's the worst thing since you've been here? The players can be a little bit more open with you. They might say, the best thing is the Bluebell ice cream. Coach says it, but it's right. No, the players might say, you know what? I really love our team. I love our family. The worst thing is 6 a.m. weights. Okay? I think you can deal with that. But if the girl says, there's not really a best thing, and the worst thing is everything. Volleyball is the worst thing. The boys are the worst thing. I don't know. Whatever it is. Question number 2 needs to be, what is the best thing that you've had happen since you've been here that you love the most about this school? And what's the worst thing since you've been here? Okay? All right. Number 3, you want to say, how does the coach discipline you? If you do something wrong, or if one of your teammates does something wrong, if they're late or something, how does the coach discipline you? I think that's a big thing because the coach has already shown you his policies and his rules. Now, what happens whenever you break those rules? The coach might tell you something, but it might be totally different. The girls might say, hey, the coach yells at us. He cusses at us. He throws things at us. He hates us. He makes us run until we puke. Or the coach really doesn't discipline anybody. He just lets everybody, he has his favorites and let people get away with this and that and the other. So asking the players, how does coach discipline? Now again, a lot of coaches might discipline behind closed doors. They might take somebody in and tell them, hey, you've got to run before, and nobody has to know that you're running, but you need to run at 5 o'clock in the morning. Or you might have to go do some community service. I'm not going to tell your teammates about it, but in order for you to do what you need to do, in order for you to rectify the poor decisions you made, you have to do this. So they might not tell you anything, but that is a big question to ask. Number 3 is, how does coach discipline his players if somebody does something wrong? All right, number 4 is, what are practices like? When do they start? When do they end? If the coach says they're from 4 to 6, what time do you normally get there? All right, are they hard? Do you stand around a lot? Do you ever get to get in there and you pop the balls in? All right, do you have to keep score? Does everybody get to practice? Or does he just deal with team A and team B and team C and the bench warmers and the water girls and things like that? What are practices like? Because the player will tell you what the practices are like. Now again, I would probably get somebody that's probably like you, all right? A libero might say, it stinks, all we do is hit all day. And you're a middle hitter and you're like, all right. All right, but she might not say we hit all day, she might just say it stinks. I sit around and do nothing. And the middle's like, man, it's so hard. All we do is hit all day and I have to hit like 150 balls. The outsides might say, all we do is have the middles hit, or we just sit there and have the setter set into a basket. Ask what the practices are like and ask them what they're like in the season and off season and all those other things. Ask those different things, okay? And then question number 5 is, we talked about it before when we talked about how academically rigorous you want it to be. What are classes like? Okay? You can ask other questions too, like social life and all those other things, but you need to ask what are classes like. Because if you talk to the players, they might tell you, you know what? I'm struggling. It is so hard to do weights, have practice, have film, travel, get over there. There's no Wi-Fi in the bus. We're up until 3 o'clock in the morning trying to study when we're on the road. I can't do it on the bus because I'm about to throw up. We have to hustle home. We have to type our paper and we have to submit it before everything's done. They might tell you or they might say, you know what, class is so easy. I haven't gone to class in 3 weeks and I still have an A in my class. What's up? You know, whatever they say, but you need to ask that question. Hey, how tough are classes? Because you're going to have to be in them. Now, there are many other questions that you can ask. There's some of the questions that we talked about before. But the questions that you need to ask the players, the first 5 on your list are, first, why did you choose this school? Next, what's the best thing that's happened since you've been here, and what's the worst thing that's happened since you've been here? Hopefully they're honest with you about both of those. Number 3, how does the coach discipline their players? Because the coach is going to tell you something differently. The players will tell you the real truth. Number 4, what are practices like? Can you tell me a little bit about practices? Do you like practice? Do you hate practice? Do you dread going? Do you enjoy it? What are practices like? And then lastly, how hard are the classes, or what are classes like? And then I would probably ask, what's the social life like? Okay, what are boys like? I don't know, whatever you really care about. What's the religious aspect like? What are the rules of the school like? I know there's some other questions you can ask, but these are a great 5 to start with that you need to ask the players. So always ask the coach questions, always ask the players questions when you go on your official visit, because this is your opportunity to get face to face where people can't think about answers and call the coach, hey coach, what do you want me to tell this girl? Now is your time that you can talk to her one-on-one and you can say, hey, what is coach like? And they'll be truly honest with you about what coach is like. What's his coaching style? What are practices like? Those are different things that you can ask, okay? So ask all those questions to the players, ask all those questions to the coach. Now, you're coming home from your official visit. And now we got to think about, okay, is this a school that I really want to go to? That's what we're going to jump into in the next chapter. Questions to ask yourself about that school you just visited. All right? I look forward to seeing you there. Hopefully you got everything you need and the questions that you need to ask Coach and the players when you're on your official visit. Let's go ahead and talk inwardly, and let's talk to you about, is this school the one for you? Okay? I look forward to seeing you in the next chapter. Good luck and God bless. Thanks.